Students, in this PowerPoint, we are going to learn about the hormonal coordination. We had started with the topic in the previous presentation. We had talked about the major endocrine glands. In that, we had discussed about hypothalamus and pituitary. So, for a quick revision, let us understand hormones of pituitary. Pituitary is also called as hypophysis. As we have discussed earlier, pituitary has two lobes, adenohypophysis and neurohypophysis. Adenohypophysis secretes following hormones: somatotropic hormone, STH or growth hormone, thyroid stimulating hormone, adrenocorticotropic hormone, that is ACTH, prolactin, gonadotropin, which are FSH, follicle stimulating hormone, luteinizing hormones, and interstitial cell stimulating hormone. Neurohypophysis lobe of pituitary secretes oxytocin and antidiuretic hormone. We'll learn about these hormones one by one. Let us start with hormones of adenohypophysis. The first hormone is somatotropin or somatotropic hormone or growth hormone, which is also abbreviated as STH or GH. Name itself suggests that this hormone is responsible for overall growth of an individual. It stimulates growth and development of all tissues by accelerating protein synthesis and cell division. The highest secretion of this hormone is seen till puberty, and its secretion becomes low after the puberty is attained. After puberty, it is continuously secreted throughout lifetime, but now its function is not growth but repair and replacement of body tissues or cells. If the hormone is secreted abnormally, that is, in case of hyposecretion or less secretion since childhood, it results in stunted physical growth, and this condition is called as pituitary dwarfism. In function, we have mentioned that growth hormone or somatotropin is responsible for overall growth of body. So, if it is not secreted to the adequate level, it causes stunted physical growth and the individual becomes dwarf. Hypersecretion or oversecretion of growth hormone in childhood causes gigantism. It is a condition of overgrowth. The individual attains abnormal height. The individual becomes very heighted, and it attains height which is not the average height of human beings. Acromegaly is a condition where excess of growth hormone in middle-aged adults results in disproportionate growth, causing disfigurement, enlargement of bones of nose, lower jaw, hands, fingers, and feet. Hypersecretion, that is oversecretion in children, causes gigantism, and hypersecretion in middle-aged adults causes acromegaly. These are the abnormal conditions of hormone secretion. Then the next pituitary hormone is thyrotropin or thyroid stimulating hormone, TSH. In the previous PowerPoints we had discussed that pituitary is the gland which controls the other glands in human body, such as thyroid. It controls the secretions of gland by secreting certain hormones, such as now thyroid stimulating hormone. This hormone stimulates thyroid gland to secrete thyroxine. Secretion of thyroid gland is thyroxine, and the gland itself is stimulated by pituitary hormone called as TSH. Then the third is adrenocorticotropic hormone or ACTH. It stimulates adrenal cortex to produce and secrete its hormone. Now this adrenal gland we are going to learn in the next few slides. Adrenal gland is present above the margin of kidneys. These are also called as suprarenal glands. ACTH maintains functioning of adrenal cortex. Adrenal gland is divided into two regions, cortex and medulla. ACTH is responsible for maintaining function of adrenal cortex. Fourth pituitary hormone is prolactin or luteotropin or mammotropin. It is unique because it is under predominant inhibitory control of hypothalamus. That is, it hypothalamic releasing factors inhibit the production of this hormone by pituitary. Prolactin activates growth of breast during pregnancy and stimulates milk production and secretion of milk by mammary glands after childbirth. So this is also called as mammotropin. Fifth hormone of adenohypophysis is gonadotropins. Gonadotropins can be classified into three types. Number one is FSH, follicle stimulating hormone. It stimulates growth of ovarian follicles in females. In males, it is concerned with the development of seminiferous tubules. Seminiferous tubules in males show the development of male gamete, that is spermatozoa. Luteinizing hormone or LH is the second gonadotropin. In females, the luteinizing hormone helps in ovulation. In ovary, the follicular development is seen. The mature follicle or Graafian follicle, after completely enlarging, it releases or discharges ovum. The release of ovum is under control of luteinizing hormone. Release of ovum, the process is called as ovulation. Follicle stimulating hormone and luteotropic hormone are responsible for stimulation of ovaries to produce estrogen. LH induces the ruptured follicle to develop into corpus luteum and for production of progesterone. Ovary or gonads are also the endocrine glands. Ovary is responsible for production of hormones called as estrogen and progesterone. Estrogen works in the follicular development, and while progesterone is the hormone which maintains pregnancy. Then the third gonadotropin is ICSH, interstitial cell stimulating hormone. In males, it stimulates testes or male gonads to produce androgen called as testosterone. Testosterone is responsible for development of secondary sexual characters, that is the hoarse voice, aggressiveness in males, and facial hair, etc. Hormones of neurohypophysis are oxytocin and antidiuretic hormone. Oxytocin stimulates uterine contraction during childbirth or parturition. It also stimulates contraction of mammary glands to initiate ejection or release of milk. So it is called as birth hormone or milk ejecting hormones. The two functions are stimulating uterine contractions and milk ejection. Second hormone or antidiuretic hormone is or vasopressin is also a very important hormone. It stimulates reabsorption of water in DCT and collecting tubule of uriniferous tubules of kidney. Kidneys are the organs which are responsible for excretion or production of urine, removal of nitrogenous waste substances. In kidneys, this urine formation takes place by small tubules called as uriniferous tubules. In these uriniferous tubules, reabsorption of water takes place due to the hormone ADH or vasopressin, and through urine, large amount of water is not allowed to pass. ADH decreases loss of water by reducing the urine quantity, and it increases blood pressure by causing vasoconstriction. Now, what happens if this hormone is deficient? If there is deficiency of the hormone, there is reduction in water reabsorption and increased urine output. The condition is called as diabetes insipidus. In this case, there is a lot of water lost through urination. Excessive micturition or removal of urine causes excessive thirst. As a lot of water is passed through urine, the person has deficiency of water in the body, and the person becomes excessively thirsty, and this condition is called as polydipsia. Then there is intermediate lobe of pituitary, which is very small, pars intermedia. It is poorly developed in human beings. It secretes melanocyte stimulating hormone MSH in some lower vertebrates. MSH is responsible for dispersion of melanin granules in melanocytes, and that results in the skin pigmentation. This is very essential because it protects the internal organs from UV rays. So the pars intermedia, the intermediate region of pituitary, is responsible for production of MSH. Then when we studied the structure of brain, we studied diencephalon, part of forebrain. Roof of diencephalon gives out upward projection called as pineal gland. It is located between two cerebral hemispheres. It is sensitive to biochemical signals of light. This hormone, melatonin or sleep hormone, which is derived from tryptophan, is secreted by pineal gland. Melatonin is very important in the regulation of biological clock, that is 24-hour diurnal rhythm of our body. It helps in maintaining normal rhythm of sleep-wake cycle. That is, we sleep during night and we stay awake during the day. It also influences body temperature, metabolism and reproductive cycles. Next important gland is thyroid gland. Largest endocrine gland, it is bilobed, edge-shaped, butterfly-shaped gland which is situated in front of trachea or windpipe just below larynx. Larynx is called as voice box. When we studied respiratory system, we have studied these parts. Thyroid gland is richly supplied with blood vessels. Two lobes of thyroid are connected by a non-secretory band called as isthmus. Now, here in this butterfly shaped gland, this isthmus is clearly seen. Then, thyroid lobes are composed of rounded follicles which are held together by interfollicular connective tissue which is called as stroma. If you take a section of thyroid gland, there are n number of follicles seen which are held in the connective tissue called as stroma. Stroma contains not only the follicles but also blood capillaries and small group of parafollicular cells or C cells. Thyroid follicles are composed. Now here I'll show you these thyroid follicles. These are the thyroid follicles. Inside the thyroid follicles there is this colloidal material present which has thyroid hormones. Scattered in the connective tissue stroma there are blood capillaries and C cells which are responsible for secreting calcitonin. Again we go back. Thyroid follicles are composed of cuboidal epithelium. Just as we saw, the follicles have lining of cuboidal epithelium resting on a basement membrane and it is filled with gelatinous colloid which has thyroid hormones. Now which are the hormones of thyroid gland? Thyroid gland itself is stimulated by a hormone TSH. TSH is secreted by pituitary. Two hormones T3 and T4. T4 means tetraiodothyronin. T3 is triiodothyronin. In T4 there are 4 atoms of iodine and in T3 there are 3 atoms of iodine. These are stored before secretion and these are regulated by TSH of pituitary by negative feedback mechanism. Negative feedback means if the hormone concentration by thyroid is excess, it gives a negative signal to pituitary and pituitary will stop production of TSH. Ultimately, thyroid will not be stimulated and production of T3 and T4 will be stopped. Then parafollicular cells or C cells produce calcitonin which regulates calcium metabolism. How thyroxine synthesis takes place? Iodine is very important in formation of T3 and T4. Iodine attaches to amino acid tyrosine by enzymatic action and produces monoiodothyronine T1, or two atoms of iodine attached to the amino acid tyrosine to form diiodothyronine. T1 and T2, that is monoiodothyronine and diiodothyronine, bind end to end to make colloidal mass inside follicle, and further they are metabolized to form T3 and T4. So this way we can understand that iodine is very important for formation of thyroxine hormones. T3 is secreted in small quantity, but it is physiologically more active. Thyroid is the only gland which stores its hormones in the follicle. Now, what are the functions of thyroxine? Basal metabolic rate of body is regulated by thyroxine. Regulates metabolism by stimulating protein synthesis and promotes growth of body. Then thermoregulation, temperature is regulated by increasing heat production. So while metabolism is concerned, metabolism is composed of catabolism and anabolism. Catabolism is breakdown of the food material that is ingested by a person, and anabolism is synthesis process. So thyroxine, as it is involved in regulation of metabolism, basal metabolic rate, due to catabolism or breakdown of food, energy is released. So ultimately thyroxine is also responsible for thermoregulation. Then it increases action of neurotransmitters adrenaline and noradrenaline, also supports the process of RBC production or erythropoiesis, and maintains water and electrolyte balance. Also regulates reproductive cycles in females. This is a very important function. Then what is the function of calcitonin? Calcitonin is secreted by the C cells, parafollicular cells. The function is to regulate concentration of calcium and phosphorus in blood. It is under the feedback control of plasma calcium concentration. That is, if there is concentration of calcium more in plasma, then it will not it will give a signal to the C cells and calcitonin will be produced less. So calcium level in the plasma decides or regulates the action of calcitonin. It is secreted when concentration of calcium rises in blood. If calcium concentration is more in blood, it is secreted. Its action is to lower the concentration of calcium and phosphorus in plasma by decreasing the release from bone and accelerating uptake of calcium and phosphorus by bones. So ultimately what calcitonin does is it helps the uptake of calcium and phosphorus by the bones, and it decreases the level of calcium and phosphorus in blood. Then what are the disorders of thyroid gland? Excessive secretion causes hyperthyroidism. Then due to this, metabolic rate, sensitivity, sweating, flushing, rapid respiration, bulging of eyeballs, and various effects on the physiological activities are seen. Metabolic rate is increased. The disease caused due to this is Graves' disease or exophthalmic goiter. In hyperthyroidism in adults causes protruding eyeballs. This is a very characteristic feature. BMR is increased or basal metabolic rate is increased. Weight loss is a result. Then increased BMR produces various effects like increased heartbeat, increased BP, high body temperature, nervousness, irritability, tremors of fingers, and bulging eyeballs. Then hypothyroidism, less secretion of thyroid or deficiency of thyroid hormones, or in case of removal of thyroid gland, which is called as thyroidectomy, following disorders are seen: cretinism and myxedema. Cretinism is due to hyposecretion of thyroid hormones in infants, and in cretins there is reduced BMR seen, low oxidation, having short stature, and skeleton fails to grow. They are mentally retarded, dry skin, thick protruding tongue, prolonged neonatal jaundice, lethargy, and constipation are the common features seen in cretins. Cretin shows stunted physical growth, delayed puberty, and mental retardation. But as this is occurring in infants, it can be treated by administration of thyroid hormones. Myxedema is a case of hypothyroidism in adults. It is characterized by peculiar thickening and puffiness of skin and subcutaneous tissue, particularly the face and extremities. Patient lacks alertness and intelligence. Patient suffers from slow heart rate, low BP, and always feeling cold, low body temperature, and retarded sexual development. If the functions of thyroid hormones are clearly understood, then the result of hyperthyroidism and hypothyroidism can be related easily. Then we go to the next slide. One more disorder is remaining: simple goiter, iodine deficiency goiter. If iodine is not adequately taken, it causes this disorder. It is needed for synthesis of thyroid hormone. This disease is commonly seen in hilly areas and it can be treated also. Iodine can be added to table salt, or the iodized salt can be taken to prevent this disease. In this disease, the size of thyroid gland increases, but the total output of thyroxine is decreased. Close to thyroid, there is parathyroid gland. Here now in the diagram, both anterior and posterior view of thyroid gland are shown. Posteriorly, we can see the four lobes of parathyroid glands attached to the posterior side of thyroid. Location is on the posterior surface of the lobes of thyroid gland. Parathyroids are four in number and named as superior and inferior parathyroid glands. Structure is cells are arranged in a compact mass. You can see the four lobes. In those lobes, the cells are compactly arranged. Parathyroid secrete the hormone parathormone, and also called as Colles hormone. The functions are regulation of calcium and phosphate balance between blood and other tissue. It releases release of parathormone increases blood calcium level. Now it draws calcium from bone and increases calcium absorption in the digestive tract and reduces loss of calcium in urine. From bone, the calcium is taken. Concentration of calcium and phosphate is maintained by parathormone and calcitonin. Just now in the previous slide we saw that calcitonin is responsible for uptake of calcium and phosphorus in the bones, and it reduces calcium concentration in the blood. So both these hormones are working exactly opposite. Calcitonin and parathormone are called as antagonistic hormones, just like insulin and glucagon. Insulin reduces blood glucose level and glucagon increases blood glucose level. Control of parathormone is under feedback control of blood calcium level. Blood calcium level only decides the secretion of parathormone. Now, hyposecretion or less secretion of hormone results in concentration of calcium in the blood. This increases excitability of nerves, muscles, causing muscle twitch and spasm. This is called as parathyroid tetany or hypocalcemic tetany. Hormone function is to regulate calcium and phosphate balance. Now, blood calcium level is increased And when the hormone is secreted in less quantity, it lowers the concentration of calcium, resulting in hypocalcemic tetany. Hypersecretion, more secretion, is responsible for uptake of calcium from bones. More and more calcium is taken away from bones, that is, demineralization of bones is resultant, and it causes softening, bending, and fracture of bone. You can imagine, more and more calcium is taken away from bone, or minerals are taken away from bone, the bones become soft and they are prone to the fractures. This is called as osteoporosis, and it is common in women who have reached menopause. With this, we complete the endocrine glands till parathyroid glands and their hormones. Thank you.